On the grid here for the third and final race from the Cadwell Sidecar Revival. What a weekend it's been. What a weekend for Todd Ellis and Chaz Richardson. 2 victories already.
What a weekend those boys have had. Kershaw and Clark once more at the back of the grid after one crash and a mechanical retirement. Lewis Blackstock very focused, he and Paddy Rosney. Can they turn the tables on their teammates John Holden and Lee Kane? It's all ifs, buts and maybes. Just watch for the lights then. Lights will come on and go. Off and away they go, and it's another flyer. Gary Bryan getting another flyer on the inside. He's good off the line, isn't he, Gary Bryan? Putting his nose in front as well. And out in front then, it's Lewis Blackstock and Paddy Rosney. Martin Kirk and Shelley Smithies on the grass, taking with them Andy Peach and Ken Edwards. Peachy looks over his right shoulder. All's well on the grass, and he's back on track. Did Kirk and Smithers get away with it? The answer is no. Game over for them. Terminal damage to the outfit. At the front though, it's Holden. Holden leading. Blackstock finds himself in 5th place out of Brian Gray. Kevin Cable got an absolute flyer. He and Kyle Masters very quick off the line. They've taken to that 600 like a duck to water. Todd Ellis and Chaz Richardson chasing John Holden and Lee Kane then, race leaders. We said in the interview that his season's got going. He started racing, he started leading. John Holden and Lee Kane then. As I said earlier, not refugees, but they've decided to contest this championship rather than the World Championship. And I have to say, the strength in depth here in the Molson Group British Sidecar Championship, far, far superior to the World Championship. This is the best sidecar racing championship on the planet, bar none. And I defy anyone to challenge that. The F2s, the FSRA, are here this weekend as well on the programme, and in fairness to them, they have put in some very, very strong races. But the strength in depth all the way down this field in the Molson Group Championship is immense. Kershaw and Clark moving out to pass Wayne Lockyer and Mark Sayers on the short chassis LCR Honda, sweeping by in imperious style, claiming the place. Blackstock and Rosney underneath Gary Bryan, up to 3rd place. So it's a repeat of the earlier podium, except that John Holden is now leading from the lights, grabbed the advantage, never looked back so far. He's leading Todd Ellis and Chaz Richardson, and the lap times absolutely identical between the 600 outfits. That's what's so good about this level playing field we now have, with the equilibrium, if you like, in engine capacity, and everybody on long chassis, either LCR or Adolf Rudy Schmidt chassis. There are 1 or 2 of those around these days. Simon Gilbert is one of the protagonists who rides an RS chassis. Ellis then looking right and left, and having to settle and go for second best to John Holden. Kevin Cable will be the next. So Gary Horsfall, Kevin Cable ahead of Kershaw and Clark, and they're not going to be easy to pass either. This is the scene of Kershaw's undoing in race 1. Race leaders over the line. John Holden, Todd Ellis in 2nd. He and Chaz Richardson on the Santander Salt CBR 600. Brian Gray, number 7, going through. Now the chasing bunch. Kershaw and Clark moving out past number 32, Gary Horsfall and Jimmy Connell. Not finding it a complete walk in the park. They slot in between Horsfall and Kevin Cable. Todd Ellis, we're back at the front looking at the race leaders. John Holden and Lee Kane on the Barnes Racing Silicon Engineering. Silicon Engineering, of course, sponsored of Dean Harrison on a solo bike, as well as this duo of sidecar outfits. Not this duo, the man in 3rd as well on one, and through goes Ellis. Ellis then goes in hot too, but managed to get it stopped at the foot of the gooseneck down into the chicane here, and then throwing it left into the foot of the mountain. So John Holden now in 2nd place. This is deja vu for these 3 crews. exactly how they finished in the two previous encounters, but this has been a much tougher fight for Todd Ellis and Chaz Richardson. Ben Holland and Lee Watson have overcome their woes with the loose fairing, and they're running hard and running strong as well, but they had to come from the back, just as Kershaw and Clark have done, to fight their way through, and they are some 5 or 6 outfits behind the reigning champions, making their way through the traffic. Are they going to fare any better getting past Gary Horsepole and Jimmy Connell? Look at the antics of the passenger, keeping the drive on the rear wheel, keeping it stable. Jimmy Connell, the next round will be up on home ground for him, north of the border. Ben Holland and Lee Watson, so good to see them back as full-time regulars in the championship. Blackstock and Rosny, number 95 in third place. Now Ben Holland, I think, will make a lunge for the inside underneath Kevin Cable, who's surrendered to Horsepole, and he's passed the pair of them. Gary Horsepole was not as quick as Kevin Cable into Park Corner, and the profit there was Ben Holland's. Andy Peach going underneath as well. He and Ken Edwards with the number 14 outfit ahead of them. In fact, going past the number 14 outfit of Lockie and Sayers. Still at the front, Blackstock has not given up. In fact, he's closing down now as Kershaw's on the back of Brian Gray and Jason Pitt. Is he going to be able to nail them before they get into the trees? Highly unlikely. And having had that incident in the woods in race 1, he will exercise caution, discretion being the better part of valour in this instance. Out of the old hairpin down towards Barn, and now this is where Kershaw's Yamaha will come into its own. Past he goes. Brian Gray and Jason Pitt then relegated by the Molson Group Express Tyres. LCR Yamaha, supported of course by Santander Salt, teammate in fact to Todd Ellis, race leader. And now 44 Pete Founds with Rob Biggs behind. That's a renewal of their battle, and look who's coming, Kershaw and Clark and Gray and Pitt. It's about to be a 4-way scrap. What a weekend we've had so far at Cadwell Park, and this race, the final race in the Molson Group Sidecar Championship here, no exception. Alan Founds and Jake Lowther fending off Rob Biggs and Jerome Schmitz. And that's where the short bike works, through the woods there. Whether it can hold its own on the straight will remain to be seen, because the CBR 600 Honda of Rob Biggs is very quick. But breathing down their neck now, Kershaw and Clark making progress from the back of the grid to try and salvage something from what has been a totally miserable Cadwell Sidecar revival for them. Round 3 in the Molson Group British Sidecar Championship. 3 races on the programme and they've scored nothing so far. They've lost the championship lead, and out in front it's Todd Ellis and Chaz Richardson. This the battle for second place, with John Holden in second. Lewis Blackstock 95 we're on board with now. He and Paddy Rosny have had a fantastic weekend so far. Can they go one more step up the box and claim second on the podium? Well, to do that they have to vanquish the veteran, the Isle of Man TT veteran, the World Championship veteran, has been racing sidecars for so long, John Holden. He knows every hint and wrinkle in the book. But the youngsters behind him are learning. They're watching the lines. They're looking for the opportunity to dive underneath. And I think they might just have a go at the end of Park Straight if they can get enough momentum. Now then, on the start-finish straight here at Cadwell, slinging up to Coppice, that sweeping left-hander, then into Charlie's at the top, which will be the right-hander. Kershaw getting a 5th place pitboard sign. So up to 5th then for Steve Kershaw and Stuart Clark. He should get a result. Alan Founds and Jake Lowther holding off the attentions of Rob Biggs and Jerome Schmitz, who've had another flawless ride. Ben Holland, Lee Watson, damage limitation for them. Can they get past Brian Gray and Jason Pitt on the Brian Gray Power Biking R6 Yamaha? Also running a young man in the MRO Championship who will be joining us at some time in the season, that's for sure. Remember the name Tommy Philp, and meanwhile remember the name Ben Holland, because Ben Holland moving now up to 8th place, having gone past Brian Gray, so salvaging something from his weekend as well, Ben Holland, with 2 retirements so far. Still though, John Holden, number 3, holding that 2nd place, or should I say Holden that 2nd place, ahead of Lewis Blackstock and Paddy Rosney. And if they can hang on to this, to the flag, it is 3 consecutive 2nd spots on the podium for them, because out in front it's Todd Ellis and Chaz Richardson on the Santander Salt Honda. Holden's Kawasaki good. In 4th place, Gary Bryan and Phil Hyde, with Kershaw in 5th, very attentive. Look at the damage on the nose cone of that outfit where they kissed the Armco when they went into the wall in the trees, and up to 4th he goes. 4th place now for Steve Kershaw and Stuart Clark. So all is not lost. Alan Founds and Jake Lowther still in this battle for 6th place. The 6th place fight then with Rob Biggs and Jerome Schmitz. They want it. This guy has got what he wants. This will be a hat-trick of wins for Todd Ellis and Chaz Richardson if they bring it home. And I will not put the commentator's curse on them, but they certainly look very accomplished. You heard in the interview Chaz saying that this is Todd's home track. It's where he started his racing, and he's doing a great job, I can tell you. The battle for 2nd though, still John Holden and Lee Kane. Lee Kane acutely aware and will have in his peripheral vision the side under switch here. Biggs has gone past. Biggs has gone past Alan Founds. That now is Biggs up to 6th. 6th place for Rob Biggs and Jerome Schmitz. What a weekend they've had. And look at this, side by side, but Holden just about holding the advantage there. That was close stuff. Blackstock is desperate then to go 1 step better on the podium. He's going to throw everything at this final opportunity, I suspect. We're into the closing stages of the race. On the final lap, 2.18 miles of the Cadwell Park International Circuit, because this is an international track going back over decades. The best motorcyclists, solo or sidecar, have raced here over the years. The number 89 crew of Craig Hawkswell and Derek Taylor being lapped. Gary Bryan goes through, and now you are watching the race leaders, Todd Ellis and Chaz Richardson. 2nd and 3rd, Holden and Blackstock, on board with Blackstock, wondering what might have been if they can only find out. Oh, there's an opportunity. That was a bit of a, oh dear, oh dear, oh dear. They kissed the curb and it threw them sideways onto the grass there. Lewis Blackstock would have seen that. John Holden then unaccustomedly ragged on this final lap. Not one to give to pressure, but he's riding a very defensive line here, and he's got to, because Lewis Blackstock 95 is climbing all over the back of his teammate's outfit in an effort to claim that place. He wants it. He desperately wants it. Down towards Barn for the final time. Lewis Blackstock in 3rd, ahead of him. Holden over the line. Richardson and Todd Ellis's driver. They have done the hat trick here at Cadwell. Holden hangs on to 2nd, Blackstock 3rd. What a day for them. They will march on at the top of the standings. Kershaw indeed managed to bring it home 4th, so not a total loss for him. Bryan, consistent again, he's there. Biggs then 6, you saw that battle with Alan Founds. Ben Holland, some points at least. And Brian Gray Much better for Phil Bell this time. 6 points from 10th place ahead of Kevin Cable, Gary Horsfall, Deacon Nichols, Kenny Cole, Lockie and Hawksell. What a race!